Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'd like to take a little bit of your time and talk to you today about a subject that comes up very often when it comes to counseling. There's a question that a lot of people ask, and that question is, why do men not like going to counseling? So, before I get started, I have a lot of different reasons why men may not want to go to counseling, and I'm not going to put them in any particular order, but I'd like to discuss some of those in detail. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, number one of the biggest things out there as to why men don't go to counseling has all to do with this thing that we call stigma. Stigma when it comes to behavioral health. What we have to understand is that stigma prevents individuals from being able to go forth and get the help that they actually need, men especially. That stigma being that if I go and tell someone that I'm having some problems within my life, that I will be considered as weak, that I don't have it all together, that I'm not good enough, or that I'm crazy. That is not the case. It takes a lot of strength to be able to come forth and say, I need some help in things that I'm going through in my life. And guess what? We all go through those issues at some point in time. How we handle those things is something very different. Counseling gives you a way to be able to come and talk in a safe environment and maybe work through those issues so that you can have a better standard of living. With that, some individuals kind of believe as though I can do this on my own. I don't need to talk to anyone. Well, let's really take a deep dive into that. If you could have did it on your own, you would have did it already. But a lot of us sit and think that we can do it on our own, and sometimes we dig the hole deeper for ourselves, and then it gets too big for us to climb out of, and we end up going in the end. So why not go ahead and maybe just suck up that thing that we call pride, men just being honest, and go and get some help. It's kind of funny to me how individuals will say, you know what, I'm going to go out here and try to fix my car. I'm going to call my buddy up and see if he'll help me. Well, guess what? If your car needs to be fixing, you can call your buddy. If your lawnmower needs to be fixing, you can call your buddy. If anything in your life is wrong and you can call your buddy, why can't you call someone when it comes to counseling as well? And I'm not trying to have a knock on anyone. I'm just saying one of the things that we have to understand is that in this life, we have to help each other. We don't all have it figured out. Doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, or a child. Counselors are here to try to help you through these life struggles so that your life can be better. So let's move on to another one. Let's talk about negative past experiences. So, men, I'm just going to be very honest with you. I went through the same thing that you are seeing, the same thing that you may be going through. I went through counseling at one point in a previous marriage. And one of the things that I was afraid of was going there and having someone tell me that I'm not operating as a man should operate. And what happened was I went into the counseling session, sat there with the counselor, with my ex wife. And one thing just really turned me off from it right off the bat. The counselor looked at me dead in the eye and said, "What did you do?" So I was wrong right off the bat before we even got started, before he even knew the story as to why we were having issues in our relationship. I was already to blame. So for a lot of men, that's another reason why they won't go to counseling is because they feel that the blame is going to be put on them. What we have to understand is that it took two of us to decide that we were going to be in a relationship. There's a good chance that both of you are causing some issues that are causing problems within the relationship, not just the man. Along with those negative experiences, we have to really think about how have we been treated in the past. See, a lot of times what we've been asked to do is to open up about our feelings because as children, we were taught that men, we don't cry. We don't worry about a lot of stuff. We just have to get it done because as a man, we have to provide, we have to protect and do all these things for the family. You make sure they're all right, and then you come second. You make sure, as that cliche says, happy wife, happy life. That is not true. It takes two people in a relationship to be happy. So, men, if you're experiencing something, you're not happy in your life, you're not happy in your relationship, I encourage you to speak up, say something, take that step, and give counseling a try to see if it can help you in your lifestyle. So, those negative past experiences can also look like this. Your spouse says, "Hey, I need you to talk to me. Open up and tell me how you feel." It's okay for you to show emotions. And then the minute you do, the very next argument that you get into, they're throwing it right in your face. And so that prevents you from getting counseling because if I can't talk to my spouse about it and you're going to do this to me, then what is somebody else going to do that doesn't even know me? I put my trust in you and you threw it back at me. And now I'm back into a worse place than where I started from. And that's just some examples of some negative past experiences. And then let's also talk about this word that we call fear. Let's be honest, man. Some of us are just scared. Not trying to call anybody out, not trying to make this bad for anyone, but sometimes we are scared of the unknown. So one of the things that we can do is really go out there and do some research. Talk to someone else that may have went to counseling, see what their experience may be like. Or better than that, try it for yourself. This is the way I look at things. I can sit up and have someone taste food all day long and they can tell me it's good, but I'll never know until I taste it for myself. That's when I find out that this food is good, that it's nutritional, and I'm glad I paid my money for it. Now, moving on to talking about money. Some people won't go to counseling because they say it costs too much. Guess what? Everything in life is going to cost you something. Doesn't matter what you're going to do. If you go to McDonald's, you want to eat, it's going to cost you some money. If you go to get your car fixed, it's going to cost you some money. If something goes wrong in the house, it's going to cost you some money. So we will pour our money into inanimate things. Some of those we really need, but what about our mind? What about our bodies? Is it not worth going to counseling when one may need some help? So we can't have that fear and we can't be worried about the cost. What we need to do is think about the cost of not going. Is it going to cost you something? Your relationship, maybe a friendship? Is it going to cost you your livelihood? Is it going to cost you your life because you're not doing things to take care of that physical body along with that mental aspect as well? And so, one of the other things that we have to understand that individuals, especially men, may not go to counseling for is denial. Some people just deny the fact that they have a problem. And that is very hard for men. We have to be the strong ones. It's always been that way. We have to provide. We have to protect. We have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders so we can't show that there is something going on in our life because we're presumed to be weak. We're presumed to not have it all together. We can't deny the fact that something is going on in our lives. Doesn't matter how many times you walk by dirt on the floor and decide to sweep it up under the rug, the dirt is still there because the lump is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The longer we deny it, the harder it may be to work through that particular situation. So, once again, I'm encouraging individuals, men, don't be afraid to go forth and say that you need some help. I need help. I have been in counseling, and as a counselor, I have a counselor as well. So I encourage you all to listen to these reasons why men may not go to counseling. Take a good look at yourself and see, is that me? And then try to make that decision to say, let me move forward and get the help that I need. The last thing that I'll tell you is this: a lot of individuals just don't know what counseling is. There is a lack of knowledge. They don't know what therapy looks like. It is uncharted waters to them. So I would encourage individuals to do your research once again. Educate yourself. Ask other individuals as well. Go to a therapist and do an initial consultation to see what therapy may look like for you and do your homework to find out which therapist may be the right fit for you. Now, these are just a few of the things that I decided to talk about in this short video. There could be a lot of other different reasons why individuals, especially men, do not go to counseling. What I encourage individuals to do is to look at all these things that I just talked about. If you fit into one of those categories, I ask you to step out in faith. Step out and do something that can be beneficial to you to enhance your quality of life. So, myself, my esteemed counseling colleagues, we're here to be there for you so that we can talk, therapy, and heal.